Why, hello everyone. Get ready for Monday, November 14th, even though it's still Sunday night, but I'm preparing for tomorrow and I have a lot of things to talk about. Four different sports algorithms and another project that I've been working on for a long time, which is organizing all the different companies on the stock market, the NYSE and the NASDAQ that are worthy of tracking. I finally went through a list that started at over 3,000 companies, and I finally reviewed all of them in the last few months and removed all the ones that I don't think are worthy of tracking. And that left us with 265 companies. And this will now make for a much more coherent video series about stocks, which I will be talking about because when you're waiting for sporting games and sporting events to start later in the day, there's a whole other marketplace that is very interesting to play. Stock options are really exciting, and I call it gambling because it certainly feels like gambling. It doesn't feel like investing at all, but you're gambling on short-term changes in the market, and there's a lot of things that you can analyze and use this assist with notes about all these different companies and strike prices and all kinds of different things. Um, it's a different way of putting your money to work during the day. So I did get that done finally, and I can't wait to start reviewing all these companies, getting all these companies as current as possible, so that they're within the last week. Basically, I want to look at every one of these 200 something companies every week if they have any significant movement at all. So that will be on top for this week, in addition to all the human cell genome and all kinds of stuff work that I'm setting aside time for as well. But let's talk about sports. So there are four sports that happen today. And I've already prepared tomorrow for all of them. I'm so ahead of the game. I'm happy. But we're going to talk about college basketball first because I find this the most interesting of everything. So my goal with the algorithm and the algorithms in general is to have something so automated that you just paste a bunch of data, paste a bunch of exports of data of stats and players and injuries. You just paste it in here, you copy paste, you add your odds for the day, you connect everything to your cube sheet, and all of a sudden you just go here and refresh and you have a look. And that look is supposed to be so all encompassing with everything available or almost everything available numerically that you can find that could be helpful in projecting the game. All that will yield interesting things to look at, and it will yield hopefully top down a choice of what to take, right? So in addition to that, there are current year and prior year stats, and current year stats are helpful but not good enough yet because they're so limited, just a few teams. But when you bring them in here, you get a different look of things. So the day for college basketball today is apparently 19 and 10, but only 14 and 15 on the spread, meaning our projected scores are still weird and way off. But we still went 19 and 10 with the current year stats. What I did is I highlighted all the teams that show up here as a current year projection, because even though the current year is helpful, it's not the one we want to use as the best guide for who's going to win the games today. So when you change it to past year and refresh, the yellow ones still show up if they're yellow and they're on this side here. So you get to see, well, did our yellow teams win? Because those are really the premium picks. I'm going to do that for tomorrow as well. And just at a glance here, first of all, our away teams, just to look at them, because we're not supposed to bet any away teams. Don't ever bet an away team. If I ever tell you to bet an away team, be like, Ken, you told me never to bet an away team. I'll be like, yeah, but I'm saying bet it because there's a crazy line. Maybe, yeah, maybe on a straight bet for a crazy line for a small amount of money, maybe. But don't put them in round robins. Don't count on them winning. Away games don't win. They go 6-5 today, right? And only 5-6 on the spread. But home teams, that's what we care about. Home teams go 14-4. And Hawaii is winning right now. That's probably going to be a win. East Tennessee State loses all the way down here. And keep in mind, we have no home bump margin. A couple of these games are at neutral sites. Wyoming, for some reason, loses, but they were injured. So maybe that's the some reason, is that there was an injury here. And then North Dakota State loses to Pacific, but they weren't yellow. Okay. So who loses? Who's yellow? Just Wyoming and Tennessee, and that's it. And teams there are 5 teams that are not yellow. So instead of 18 games, there's 13 games and only 2 of them lost. So you go 11-2 with your yellow home teams. That's something we're going to think about. That's pretty good. And also, here's an injury for Wyoming. Here's an injury. And they were an amazing favorite. So nobody could have predicted this probably. But at least we saw there's an injury there that might have been impactful. Maybe it could tell you to stay away. Plus, why are you betting that negative 2,800 anyway, right? Was there anything to bet there? Not much. Well, let's look at tomorrow under the same logic. Okay, now actually, in order to do that, we need to unhighlight all the yellow teams first, because it's going to screw everything up. We have to remove kind of the history of the yellowness in order to get this to work right. So the specifics of how you monitor this file. So we'll go and we'll highlight all of these here. Computer's doing a lot of work because I've got all the algorithms open. We've got a lot of stuff going on. We're going to make this no fill, and that will solve that problem. Okay. Now we can look at tomorrow in current year form right here, which is the 14th. And we already have 35 games in here. There might be more added tomorrow. We'll see. Check the Google Sheet, check the emails if you subscribe to this, right? So we already have something, but there will be updates tomorrow anyway, so this is not final. But we have something. Well, let's take a look at what we have. Let's highlight all these teams in yellow because we're looking at the current year version. And then we now look at the past year stat version, which will still be the better one tomorrow. Still not enough stats for current season yet to totally use it, because it really distorts the point projections because you're using just points and the strength of schedules are all screwed up. But here you have some yellow teams, okay? And we only care about home teams. All right. And so now you're like, all right, well, are any of these yellow teams, do any of them have good lines? I would sort this descending by money line. And this is how it gives you your picks for the day. So we want anything that's yellow and has a good line. That's going to be Denver. And we would also check to make sure these are true home games. Chicago State. Wow, it gets really bad really fast. Really bad, really fast. Denver over Sacramento State, supposedly. And that's only at a 1.1% margin. Gets really bad, really fast. Boy, it's getting really bad, really fast this season, isn't it? Now, one thing you can do is you can just take a look at current season. But we'll see what it looks like tomorrow, being Monday. And say, is there anything interesting up here? Like there's a Troy all the way up here for some reason, because Florida State's playing terrible, I believe. So even though they're away, Florida State, something's wrong, or at least they had a rough tournament to start or whatever happened. So something like that. It's interesting. There's Stetson away at South Florida, but there's a big margin there. You got a plus 800 up here with Western Illinois and Central. Wow, really? Miami at Georgia, that could happen. Maybe Ohio, though. I don't know. So you don't want to use that completely. You really want to use this, but we'll move on to another sport. But the point is, I think this is the best chance at really getting a great string of teams to look at. And it's unfortunate that even this early in the season, the lines are absolutely already atrocious. We had like one day of reasonable lines. All right, so let's move on to football. So football, weird day. And San Francisco just took the lead. They are up 19-16 now, so let's update that. That will change some stuff. So I told you 2 straight bet picks in the video, and there are teams I really don't like. They're Houston and Indianapolis. Indianapolis actually does win because the Raiders are terrible. And Houston just cannot score. Giants defense, I guess, holds up. They threatened a few times, but they still lose by, I guess, 8. They don't even cover like 6.5 is what I think I got them with. So they don't even cover that. So from top down, the Niners are in a tight game right now in the fourth quarter. They have the ball, it looks like, and they're up by 3. We'll see if they win. They might cover. That's right. If they get a touchdown, they might cover, but we'll see. Bills somehow blow this game. Wow, that must have been something. I just saw the scores, I didn't watch. Cowboys. I mean, I've been to Lambeau Field. I guess I understand in the cold how that place packs some hardcore upstate Wisconsin energy, and I guess I get it. However, I had the Cowboys, and that slaughtered one of my round robins where I hit a plus 440 on a different round robin with the Cowboys to win. They're up by 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter, and they lose in OT after they get the ball first too. Just wow, just Green Bay energy kept them alive. Titans at least win. Saints games are always tough to predict, but the Steelers win. Tampa Bay score exact score, but I didn't bet it. It happened in Germany. Miami does win, and they outperform and overscore because Cleveland's terrible. Atlanta was Thursday night. Rams stink, right? Rams are bad. Even Arizona beats them. Houston doesn't perform. Raiders suck, but we took Indianapolis anyway. Chiefs do exactly what they're supposed to do and hold the Jaguars to even less, so that the Chiefs actually cover. And boy, do the Bears somehow blow a game to the Lions. Also, in similar fashion, the Cowboys and the Bears blew monster games in the fourth quarter. That and missed extra point, I think. Wow. Just wow. That's football for you. Let's just learn to expect that is football. Let's go to hockey. Hockey has an okay day. I said take some weird underdogs like San Jose. They come back, they tie this game. I told you to take the tie. Yeah, I told you to take San Jose. I took both of those, and they both won. It was a 2-2 tie, and San Jose wins in overtime. Boston wins and covers. Good team. Dallas wins and covers. Good team. Rangers win and cover. I don't know why I told you to take Arizona on that one. That's a bad idea. Cabs actually come back and make this game an over and cover plus 3.5 at least, but I started off terrible. And Winnipeg wins this at an underdog line, not Seattle, who blows it late. So that's the tough one, but that's the look there. What about tomorrow? We actually have tomorrow already. No, we don't. Why do we have 0 adjusted power for the Islanders? That's weird. We got an error somewhere. So this is not right yet. I don't even review it. Something I'll do for tomorrow. Let's talk about NBA. NBA, there are games finishing or getting close to finishing right now. Sacramento's up by 9 in the fourth quarter, and Brooklyn is down by 11. But the rest of the day, not good. Utah, Jazz lose. Jazz led a lot of this game, and they lose. Bummer. Thunder win. That was good. Sacramento might win. That would be good if they do. Bulls get spanked. No. Cleveland at least was injured, and it could be told a little bit that the Cleveland game could have been stayed away from here, with this low margin of victory, and maybe even could have gone the other way on Minnesota. Anyway, let's take a look at tomorrow. 14-14, refresh. 14th. And what we have for tomorrow is underdog Atlanta Hawks against a potentially injured Milwaukee Bucks. We'll see what the injury report says tomorrow. Magic over the Hornets. Both teams injured, though. Suns are a little injured. Tough board, but right now it looks like Atlanta would be the pick of the day over Milwaukee, the way this is set up. 9-point margin of victory, and they're at plus 160 right now. The NFL game for Monday night, which is Philadelphia and Washington, says it's much closer than you think. So you take Washington, the Commanders, plus 10.5. On a Monday night, that sounds like either the Commanders are going to lose by 40 points and you're out of it, or probably not. And it's actually a weirdly close game. I like Heineke. He's got some big energy, some big energy spirit. And Monday, I don't know, just they're fighting in the NFC East. Weird stuff happens. 10.5 is a lot of points for the Commanders, so I would take it, and I probably will tomorrow. Over under is tough, but 10.5 is a good number to take there. A field goal and touchdown victory, right? So, that is everything. And is there a pick a day in college basketball tomorrow? We said Denver, right? But the line is bad. Are there any underdogs? There's going to be some away underdogs. There's away Northern Iowa, away at Virginia is plus 1,300. Under past year stats, but they're not on current year. How bad is current year on that game? And what are our current year underdogs? Because there will be some value in I will definitely find myself coming to you and being like, hey, remember how I said, current year is going to start taking over? So we don't even know what this says yet for tomorrow, really, because I haven't updated yet. I will in the morning. These games, I'm going to check real quick and see when do these games actually start tomorrow. College basketball starts at 6 p.m. Thank goodness. We don't have to do anything before noon. It's not a weekend. So we'll get it updated. But, when you see things like 800, 660, 2 450s down here, a 450 up here with Troy. And this is a sneaky one because Florida State something's wrong there. And they got to recover. And if Troy actually isn't bad, the 10.5 for sure. And then we'll see what happens with that, because that is a 41% current year margin. All right, guys, I talked too much. Good luck, everyone. I hope your picks won today, even though it was probably tough for them all to win. And I hope they win tomorrow.